Hello, and good evening, everybody. My name is Kristen, and tonight we are here for Yoga Fortify. So this is the first of our Yoga Fortify classes, and I'm really excited about this class in particular, not just because it's the first one, but just because of what this class means to me. So just to give you a little bit of an insight about that. To me, the word fortify means, and not even just to me, from a definition standpoint, the word fortify means to reinforce something that already exists. So you're not taking something from thin air, you're not rebuilding, you're taking something that already exists and you're continuing to strengthen it. So from my perspective, what we're doing in this class, what we will be doing in this class is just simply strengthening what already exists within us. I feel like that's a much softer and a much more welcome approach about building strength, both internally and externally, thinking of it more as reinforcing and encouraging something that already exists, as opposed to clearing the slate, ripping things out, starting totally anew. As human beings, we don't ever get to start totally anew. That's not the reality of our lives. And sometimes we fight against that. But if you welcome that, if you simply acknowledge the fact that we are this really long, non-linear, winding story with so many different facets, we can reinforce what exists as opposed to ever falling for the idea you can ever totally start anew. So to me, that's very exciting, very empowering, and that is very much at the root of Yoga Fortify and what I aim to do together. So the cool thing that I'm deciding to do here as well is to be returning to different muscle groups over and over again. Sometimes they'll be really specific, sometimes like the first one, like you'll see, will be significantly more generalized. The reasoning for that is it just harkens back to the name, the idea of fortify, right? So building on something that already exists. If you start to fortify your windows, and then the next day you fortify the floorboards, and then the next day you fortify the door, you're kind of running all over the place. You're just fortifying all these different areas instead of sticking with one area and waiting for the project to be finished from beginning to end. So with that in mind, I think it's more cognitive. It just makes a lot more sense. More cohesive is the word. More cohesive to stick with one area for a little bit longer than simply one class. This is going to reinforce this idea of fortification. So our first muscle group, and again, super, super general, is where we're starting. Just really big is the core. The abdominals, this power center of our form. And the reason for that is because I wanted us to continue to harken back to our own power, our own sense of stability, as the world around us is feeling increasingly more unstable. There's very few things that happen outside of our own door, that happen outside of our own bodies, really, that we can actually control. The thing that we can control is what we continue to put inside. Pretty much it. And again, I feel like that's really empowering. You know, what you can control, you fortify, you reinforce, and you encourage. So we are going to be working with our core power center. That can be the physical center of your abdominals. This can be the more spiritual center, like your solar plexus, this power source of telling you yes or no, your gut instinct, all of these very sensitive organs in the trunk part of your body. So we're going to be reinforcing this protection. So that's how I want you to think of it. Less that we're reinforcing a muscular system. That will happen, but that's not the point. The point is that we are continuing to reinforce what is most precious to us, which is our power, which is our source of reinforcement. Okay. So for tonight's class, what I want you to do is grab 2 blankets. If you don't have blankets, you can use towels. I want you to have your mat clear and free of any kind of debris, any kind of distraction. If you don't have a mat, just find a clear designated floor space. And you can pause if you need to go grab those and then come back. And if you do already have everything, we are going to start laying flat down on our stomach in a pose called crocodile pose. Now we are going to use our props right from the get-go. So taking your blanket and rolling both of them, your blankets, rolling both of them into cylinders. One will be down at the bottom, one will be up at the top. And so this is going to take a little bit of construction. So we're going to lay down, and you want your feet right at the ankles to be supported with the blanket towards the back. As you roll the blanket towards the front, that is going to support right underneath your armpits, right along the center of your chest. Stack your hands one on top of the other, and then rest your right cheek down. And taking a few moments here, letting your body settle. So you can rock your hips from side to side, feeling your stomach, feeling your chest start to melt its way down to the floor. Keeping your knees slightly bent, feeling the slight tentedness of your ankles as you rest your toes along the mat, along the ground. Pull your shoulders away from your ears and then just completely release tension as best you can. And if you feel tension, if you feel anything just slightly out of whack that I haven't mentioned, take a moment and just let your body settle. So we're beginning tonight in this down posture, downward energetic posture, for two reasons. And the first reason is because we've had a day already. At this moment of filming, it's the end of the day, it's the evening, even though you can take this class anytime. It's knowing that this fortification, the way that we approach it, has more of an evening energy. So even though there is activation, we won't be moving with a whole lot of pace. The point is to feel these parts of our body, breathe into them, but not necessarily wake the whole system up. And the second reason for this pose is because I want you to breathe fully against the floor. Feel the way that your torso inflates and deflates with each breath, and feel the way that your body gently rises and falls as it breathes against the floor beneath you. Gently breathe out. See if you can release a little bit more anywhere in your body. Maybe it's not even in your body. Maybe you need to find some release in your mind. And just as we have a clear and designated floor space, this is the opportunity to clear and designate the next hour out in your mind as well. And this great expanse of the earth beneath you, take another inhale, lift your head. Look over now towards your right elbow and lower your left cheek down. Noticing the difference, noticing where it feels a little off, where it feels a little tight, and seeing if you can apply length and breath to those areas. Again, either physical or mental. Both are just as valid, both are just as susceptible to pooling and stuck energy. And just another 30 seconds here. And then lifting your head and gently pressing the blanket out from underneath of your shoulders, doing the same with the blanket underneath of your ankles. And now lowering your forehead down against the ground, opening your legs as wide as your mat, bringing your elbows down against the floor, pressing your hands down. Now just notice where your forehead is. If it's a little too far back, you're going to feel this arching through your neck and head, and you don't want that. So lengthen out through your torso, press your forehead down against the floor. And just take a few breaths here. Just noticing the difference now that you're no longer supported. How does this change? How does this change how you feel in your body? Feeling these points of contact, tops of your feet, palms, forehead. And then we're going to start moving in a way that is rhythmic and gentle. So we're more about building some mobility as opposed to holding and building strength. So you're going to want to maybe reach a little bit past your capacity. I want you to pull backwards. Again, this is more about mobility, less about maintaining and holding strength. So looking down towards your mat, lift your head away from the mat so that your head is lifted. There's a few inches between the tip of your nose and the mat. And you may want to go a little higher. You may go a little bit closer to the floor. It completely depends on your skeletal structure. Just do what feels neutral to you. We're going to reach our right hand forward, point our left toes. On the inhale, lift your left toes, lift your right hand. Now, what we're not doing is starting to bow here, okay? We're feeling both hip points pressing against the ground. We're just lifting our left leg, lifting our right arm. So my rib cage is still on the mat. My left hip bone, hip point is still on the mat. Even my right hip point is still on the mat. Most of my torso is very much connected down to the floor. Take another deep breath in and exhale to lower your foot down, lower your hand down, maybe even lower your head a few centimeters. Reaching your left hand forward, pointing your right toes. On the inhale, lift your right toes, lift your left hand. Now again, my left hip point is pressing against the floor. My right hip point is as well. It's not as assertive as my right hip point, but it's still there. I'm reaching my left fingertips out past my shoulders, out past the capacity of my fingers. Take another deep breath here. And exhale, lower your foot, lower your arm, feeling your chest settle. Now we're going to move through these as well. Oh, also one note, if you are somebody with a bigger chest, if you have a lot more surface area here, feel free to grab another one of those blankets and just use that. If this is uncomfortable, just give yourself some height so that you're not hurting yourself. You never want to feel uncomfortable, okay? So when you're set up, how you need to be. We're going to gently move between our left side and our right side, moving very slowly, almost like, just picture a really slow seesaw, a really gentle seesaw moving back and forth, okay? Use your breath as the metronome, whatever my cues are. If that's a little too fast, a little too slow, just go if it works for you. So pressing the tops of your feet against the floor, reaching your right arm long. Inhale, lift your left toes, right hand. Exhale, down. Feel the chest settle. Lower your head down now. Reaching your left arm long. Inhale, right toes, left fingers. And exhale to lower the head down. Inhale, left toes, right arm. Again, keep the torso in connection with the earth. Exhale to lower. Inhale, left arm, right leg. And exhale to lower. As we continue moving from side to side, just notice the different areas of your body that are starting to light up. The first place you're going to feel this is your lower back. You're going to feel a lot of back muscles happening here, a lot of back muscles lighting up. You may also start to feel this along the sides of the body, and maybe even down towards the navel, rooting in towards the ground. See if you can embrace this feeling. So usually when working with the core area, it can be really, I guess the word spicy is what I like to use. It's not painful, it's not an ouch, it's just a little spicy, a little textured. So when you start to feel your body tell you, oh God, I can't hold this another minute, I can't do this another minute, as long as it's not a painful ouch sensation, if it's more like, okay, this is getting pretty spicy, it's fine. I want you to stick with that. Take that breath, reach a little further. Really easy to listen to your mind as it tells you that it's ready to stop. But what we're working on is translating this language of our body. Do I need to stop, or is it just getting a little bit hard? If it's getting a little bit hard, can I stick with it? I'm going to do this 2 more times on each side, so 4 total. And then we're going to press our hands underneath our shoulders. Slowly peel your torso up and away from the ground. Bend into your knees. And then slowly, luxuriously sink your hips all the way back. Reach your torso forward and lower your forehead down. So moving into child's pose here. And a note on this child's pose, if you feel like your hips are really far away from your ankles, this is where you take your other blanket and slide that underneath so that you've got some space here that'll help you to not feel like there's a huge gap. The higher your hips are, just keep bringing that blanket up in towards your knees. So that'll be the support that you need. If your hips feel fine, but your head is pretty lifted, same deal. Take your blanket, find a shape, like a soft square, rest your forehead right on top. If you feel totally fine, this is very accessible, just don't use any of those things. Just know those are your options, those are your building blocks as we move forward. And gently sway the hips from side to side, stirring the lower body down. Each time you breathe, feeling the length move from your tailbone, up your spine, up towards the point where the spine meets your skull, and release out of your neck, pressing your forehead down. And again, find that deepness and that fullness of breath. See if you can send your breath to those areas of your body that were lighting up when we were slowly moving from side to side. So we've got those activation points, almost like a lighthouse that we're looking to go towards. See if you can continue that relationship in all these different shades as we move through the sequence of the class. Really deep breaths here, really deep breaths out. We're going to take 5 breaths, move at your pace. And if you beat me, just pause here, take a few extra credit breaths. And on the next breath, slide the hands under the shoulders. Bring the knees underneath the hips, taking tabletop pose. Now, if you have sensitive knees, you can place a padding, so either a blanket, an extra towel, you can even fold your mat in half here, just to give yourself some padding, whatever you need to be comfortable. We're going to move through a few cat-cows, really focusing on the rhythm of the breath, focusing on that up energy of this rhythm. Tucking your toes behind you, send your tailbone high, inhale, roll the chest forward, press the hands down, lift through the top of the head, untuck the toes, again, leading with your tailbone. Exhale all the way back. Tuck your toes, inhale forward. And untucking, exhaling back. Inhale forward. And exhale back. Inhale forward. And exhale back. Now, keep moving with your breath. What we're aiming for here is the exhale out, feeling the navel, reaching in towards the spine. So we're compressing that space on the exhale, on the inhale, we're filling it. So feel the distance between your navel and the front of your spine, being filled with air. As you exhale, that air compresses out. Feel that inner power pressing your insides towards one another. Which sounds really weird and non-scientific. Just go with it. So exhale, compress, reduce the space. Inhale, increase the space. Fill with air. And if you still feel some of that heat, some of that spice that we were cultivating earlier, that's fantastic. See if you can carry that with you and explore the different shades of what that feels like with different breaths and different postures. We're going to take this one more time forward and one more time back. Returning back to our tabletop pose, tuck the toes. Exhale, take a version of downward facing dog. So what I mean by that is that I want this to be really fluid. We're not looking for this to be perfect. We're not looking for any kind of alignment right now. Walk your hands as forward as you want. Press your feet as back as far as you want. And just let the hips sway from side to side. Feel your body moving in space, however it needs to. Releasing your air out. In these kind of practices where the physicality is a little bit more of the focus, Your breath is your friend. If you notice that you're ever gripping your breath, if you notice that you're ever not breathing, that is your first sign that it's either time to slow down and reassess. Okay, so we're going to look towards the top of our mat, bend our knees, start to walk our feet towards our hands, taking a forward fold at the top of the mat. Slight bend of your knees, feeling your torso rolling over the tops of your thighs, and then reaching your hands to interlace behind your knees. Now, if this feels too uncomfortable, if there's a lot of, if this is just not uncomfortable at all for any reason, maybe you have a larger front area, maybe you can't reach back here because it's too tight, that's totally fine. Then we're going to bring our hands towards our elbows and just release your head. Okay, so you got the option, we're either reaching for elbows or reaching behind the knees. Let your body tell you what you need and then respond accordingly. As you press down through the heels, lifting high through the sits bones, feel the spine rolling forward, release your head, shake it yes, shake it no. And letting yourself breathe here. So the same muscles of the body, these same points that were lighting up when we were moving against the floor, we're now filling that space with air, lengthening these muscles. And then release your hands down towards the floor, taking a slight bend of your knee, so reducing that deep bend, making it somewhat slighter. Reach the hands out behind you, up and overhead as you lift with a flat back, pressing the palms up above your head, and exhale, hands to heart center. Feel the four corners of your feet pressing against the floor. Roll your shoulders up to your ears and back down, taking that a few times. And then the opposite direction. And then pause. Letting your body recalibrate to standing. We're going to move through a few sun salutations now. We're going to take it on the slower pace here though, okay? On the next inhale, reach your arms out, up and overhead. Feel your wingspan as you make it all the way to the top. Again, utilizing our flat back, slight bend of the knees, exhale, float the torso all the way down. Navel reaching towards the spine. Again, find that compression, lowering all the way down. On the inhale, taking a half lift and pause. Slight bend of the knees, hands are either against your shins or up on top of your thighs. Roll your shoulders back and feel a long plane from the base of your tailbone all the way out through the crown of your head. Take another deep breath here. And exhale, lower all the way back down. Bend your knees as much as you need to. Place your hands against the mat. Take a deep breath, look towards the top. Exhale, step your left foot back, step your right foot back, coming into a plank pose. Now, because we're going to be moving through this plank pose a few times, I'm going to recommend placing your knees down. We're going to do a version of plank that is a sphinx plank. So knees are going to be down, and then our elbows are going to be down too. So you can already feel that this is a little bit spicier than with our hands up. If at any point you need to move back to your hands up, know that this is always your option. Okay, so this is our spice level 1. Or you can lower the elbows, press into the forearms, spice level 2. Okay, point your toes, press the tops of your feet against the mat, and then again, feel your hips, so this long plane of the torso, as if your hip points could reach up towards your armpits. Ooh, I'm already shaking a little bit. So we're gonna take 5 breaths here. Exhale out. Inhale 1. Exhale. Inhale 2. Exhale. Inhale 3. Exhale. Inhale 4. Exhale. One more. Inhale 5. And exhale, lower your navel and your hips down towards the ground. Roll your shoulders back, send your heart forward. Breathe deeply into this full Sphinx pose now. Shoulders down, crown of the head is lifting, legs are extending out behind you. And again, we're stretching out these core muscles that we were just contracting. And then lower the chest down, slide the other hands underneath the shoulders, tuck your toes. As you inhale, press the floor away, back to knees. Exhale, press the sits bones high, downward facing dog. And we are going to spend a little bit of time on adjustments here for this one, okay? So bending through your knees. Already notice that what this does, this readjusts the plane of your tailbone down towards the crown of your head. Looking back towards your knees, sending your sits bones high. On the exhale now, instead of straightening your legs, focus more on growing your heels down towards the ground. You never want to feel like the backs of your knees are pressing behind you. It's more of a gradual growing. And you'll get a little closer as the class goes on. Roll your shoulders away from your ears and press into the pointer finger and thumb of your hands, rolling the weight in towards those two fingers. Navel is compressing towards the spine. And we'll take 5 breaths here. Exhale all the way out. Inhale 1. Exhale. Inhale 2. Exhale. Inhale 3. Exhale. Inhale 4. Exhale. And inhale 5. Exhale. Looking up between your hands, walking your hands towards your feet. Take another forward fold, slight bend of the knees. Inhale, lengthen the back, straight back as you rise all the way up to stand. Palms press, and exhale down through heart center. Take a few breaths here. Excuse me. As you feeling yourself return back to this spot, back where you began. So that's the beauty of these repetitive motions. We notice that even as we return back to where we were, we feel different, we are different. So what does this feel like? Not what does it look like, what does this feel like to be back here? And take 2 more breaths, feel your heart beating. And release your hands. We'll take that sequence once more time. Inhale, reach the arms out, up and overhead. Keeping your back flat, slight bend of your knees. Exhale to float your torso all the way down, forward folds. Inhale, half lift. Again, find that long plane from the torso, the base of the spine, out through the crown. And exhale to lower. Press your hands down. This time, step your right foot back, left foot meets. So we're in our high plank here, lower down to your knees. Either staying here, or, this again, spice level 1, or joining us down here in spice level 2. So forearms and knees against the ground. Feel your hip points reaching up towards your shoulders. Whew, feeling that crunch already. Take a deep breath out. 5 breaths. Inhale 1. Exhale. Inhale 2. Exhale. Inhale 3. Exhale. Inhale 4. Exhale. Inhale 5. And exhale. Lower your stomach. Lower the hip points. Roll the shoulders back, bloom the front of the chest open, lifting the top of your head. Again, breathing into these muscles that were just contracting. Lengthen your legs behind you. And exhale, elbows out, lower the chest down. Pressing your hands under your shoulders, tucking your toes. Take a deep breath in, press the floor away, come to your knees. And exhale, leading with the tailbone, downward facing dog. So again, finding your individual alignment here. Slight bend of the knees, a pressing high of the sits bones, a lengthening of the heels. Feeling that growing sensation through the legs rather than pressing your knees back behind you. Roll the shoulders away from the ears, lengthen the neck, gaze is back by your knees or even further behind you, and then pressing into the pointer finger and the thumb. We'll exhale deeply here. 5 breaths. Inhale, 1. Exhale. Inhale, 2. Exhale. Inhale, 3. Exhale. Inhale, 4. Exhale. Inhale, 5. Exhale. Looking up between the hands, walking your feet up towards your hands, forward fold, taking a slight bend of your knees. On the inhale, reach the hands out, up and overhead, coming to stand. And exhale, lower hands to heart center. Again, we've returned back to this spot 2 times, gone through these motions 2 times. What feels different? What feels the same? Feeling your heart breathing, your blood moving in your body. Giving yourself permission to feel this fortification, however subtle, whether that's physical or somewhere deeper. Just opening that door to receive. Again, breathe out, release your hands. On the next breath in, reach the arms out, up and overhead, maintaining that flat back, slight bend of the knees. Exhale, float the torso all the way down. On your inhale, half lift. As you exhale, step back, this time right into downward facing dog. So again, we've been here a few times now. What feels different? What feels the same? Find your alignment points. Slight bend of the knees, the growth of the leg, the lift of the sits bones. Gaze at the knees. Pointer and thumb are points of contact, are anchors for the hands. And just as we're reinforcing this core center, feel the navel reaching towards the spine each time you exhale. So finding that compression. Take a deep breath out. Inhale, 1. Exhale. 4 more times. Inhale, 2. Exhale. Inhale, 3. Exhale. Inhale, 4. And exhale. Now, with this exhale, with this compression of the navel to the spine, you might need to take another inhale and exhale. The next time you breathe out, lifting your left foot high with the back of your heel. Now you may go really high, you may just lift your foot up. However your body is responding to the practice is how you listen, how you fall into line. So you never want to open your hip to the side. We're keeping the level, the plane even between the backs of your hips, okay? So pressing back through your left foot, pressing into your fingers as if you're pressing your whole body towards the back of your heel. Take another deep breath in. As you exhale, bring your left foot up between your hands. Now you may just be able to slide it. You may have to give yourself a literal hand, totally fine. And then lower your right knee down. Now again, this is where your props come into handy. I am somebody who always needs a little bit of padding. So I am going to take my blanket and put that right underneath my right knee. You can fold your mat, whatever you need, or nothing. Just if you're a little sensitive like I am, this is perfect. Untuck your right toe. As you press down in towards your left foot, come to pointer finger and middle finger down against the mat. So think of this more as a kickstand, less as a point of contact. Feel the back of your head lifting high. And if you feel any shaking here, welcome that feeling. Reaching your right fingertips forward. Inhale to reach your right arm up. Let your left arm follow. And then right away, notice if your torso is trying to sickle. See if you can reduce that by lengthening the tailbone, pressing through your right knee to lift through your fingertips. You should feel a lot of space here in the hips. Keep lifting high. And now we're going to take this pose and add a little bit of breath to it. So take a deep breath in, reach your fingertips even higher. As you exhale, navel reaches towards the spine as you reach your hands forward, chin in towards your chest, bowing down. Reach your hands back behind you. So inhale, again, decrease, filling that space between the navel and the spine as you lift the hands high. And exhale, decrease, navel to spine. Magnetize, you press the air out, reach the hands behind you. Inhale to lift high. Exhale, decrease that space, navel to spine. Reach all the way back, chin to chest. Final time. Inhale to reach high. And exhale. Lower the hands down, tuck your right toes, lift your right knee, slide your blanket over to the side if you're using any padding. Look towards the top of your mat, take a deep breath in, feel that space increase. As you exhale and you lift your back foot, using the muscles of the navel reaching towards your spine to lift your right foot forward. Again, finding this forward fold. And then either reaching for elbows as they hang down right from your shoulders or reaching around for opposite elbows behind your knees. Listen to your body, listen to what feels the most comfortable. Release the muscles of your neck, let your head dangle. And then lower your hands, slight bend of your knees, reach your arms out up and overhead as you rise with a flat back, palms press. And exhale, hands to heart center, and pause. And exhale, release your hands down. So take this on the opposite side now. Inhale to reach the arms out up and overhead. Slight bend of your knees, float the torso down with a flat back all the way forward, fold. Inhale, half lift. Again, find the even plane of your back. Exhale, press both hands back. Both feet back. Downward facing dog. Finding your points of contact, letting your body settle into this alignment zone. Growing the legs, slight bend of the knees, a slight lift of the tailbone. The gaze is settling around your kneecaps, pressing into the pointer finger and the thumb, rolling your shoulders away from the ears. But really hone in here on the navel, reaching to the spine each time you breathe out. We're going to take 5 breaths together. Exhale everything out. Inhale, 1. Exhale. Inhale, 2. Exhale. Inhale, 3. Exhale. Inhale, 4. Exhale. Inhale, 5. Exhale. Again, the next time you breathe out, find that sensation of the spine and the navel moving together. Navel moves to the spine, so decreasing that space. Inhale to fill it with air. As you exhale, decrease. Spine moves towards the navel, or navel to the spine rather, and lifting the back of your right heel high. So again, making sure that your hips are even. I'm even noticing with my right foot, if I lift it too high, I start to open. So my right foot goes a little bit lower than my left, just to maintain this integrity. Press into your fingertips, press your whole body back towards your right heel. Keep pressing your right heel back as if it were a laser, totally blasting the wall behind you. Take another deep breath in, and exhale, bring your right foot up between your hands. Again, either give yourself a hand or place it there on its own. Lower your left knee down, use padding if you need it. And just pause here for a moment. Feeling your body settle. Again, feeling this heat moving through you. And then coming to your kickstand, pointer finger, middle finger. Seeing if you can take some of the weight, some of that stability out of your hands and repurpose that in towards your right foot and back towards your left knee. Okay, so if you notice that your knuckles are totally white, you're putting too much pressure in your hands, and then you may start to feel the shakes, another part of your body, that's fine. Just welcome that. It's like knocking on your door. Press down through your right hand. First, lift your left fingertips high, and then let your right arm follow. Now again, right away, what our torso wants to do is sickle. We are going to reduce that by lengthening the tailbone and reaching up through the fingertips. Feeling your breath coming through your body, just notice that space that occurs when you lengthen the tailbone through the hips, right? The front of the hip bones. Keep reaching the fingertips high, and now we're going to add our moving breath to this pose. On the exhale, navel moves into the spine, reach the hands back, chin in towards your chest. Inhale to reach the fingertips forward and high. And exhale, reach the fingertips back, navel to spine, chin to chest. Inhale to reach the fingertips forward and high. Exhale, navel to spine, chin to chest. Reach the arms all the way back. Inhale to reach high. Navel to spine, exhale all the way back. We're going to take one more. Inhale to reach high. Ooh, again, if you're shaking, just let it in. And exhale to lower your hands. Tuck your back toe, lift your back knee. As you start to feel that breath, that space in between your navel and your spine, right? We're filling on the inhale, on the exhale. Press everything out, contract, and use that contraction to bring your left foot high. Take another deep breath here and find your elbows either forward or behind your legs. Shake your head yes, shake your head no. Press into the heels. Final time, rise with your flat back. Rise all the way up with your flat back. Hands to heart center. And just feel how far you've come here. Feel this journey, these different postures that we've returned to over and over. How do you feel now compared to the first time you arrived here? What feels active? What feels open? And then lower your hands. Take an inhale, reach the arms out up and overhead. And our final time, slight bend of the knees as you lower all the way down with a flat back. Inhale, half lift. And exhale, press the hands down. Step back. And again, we'll take our knees down, tops of the feet against the floor. So this is spice level 1, keeping your hands up. Spice level 2, elbows down, pressing against the forearms. Feeling the hip points reach up towards the shoulders. Take a deep breath in. And exhale out. 5 times. Inhale 1. Exhale. Inhale 2. Exhale. Inhale 3. Exhale. Inhale 4. Exhale. Inhale 5. And exhale, lower your hips, lower the navel, roll the shoulders back, lift up through the head. As you point your toes behind you, again, filling this space that we just contracted with so much sweet, fresh oxygen. Breathing into that length, breathing into whatever sensation you find here. And as you exhale, reducing the curve by bringing your elbows out, lower your chest onto the ground. Rest your forehead here for just a moment. And feeling your heart beating against the ground. And lifting your head and rolling onto your back. Okay, so bringing your knees up towards the ceiling. Walking your feet roughly hip width distance and resting your knees against one another, opening your arms wide. You can gently windshield wiper your hips from side to side, not so much that you're coming into a full twist, just enough that you're getting a little lubrication in your hip joints and the side to side arena here. Just pressing into your head, lift your shoulders, flatten your shoulder blades down against the ground. And then sliding your hands now alongside your hips, pressing the palms down. So thinking of this whole part of your body as this stabilizer. This is like your anchor here. So utilizing that same sensation of the hip points reaching up towards your shoulders, what we're going to do is leading with the tailbone. So to slowly peel each vertebrae of the spine up towards the ceiling, coming into a version of bridge pose. So now with this version, you may want to just stay here. Staying here up in midair may be exactly where this is your spice level for tonight, right? Keep pressing the hip points towards the elbows, navel in towards your spine. Once you have that adjustment, you really feel that right away. Okay, but again, this is about perseverance of the mind. So when your mind is telling you that it's done, check in and listen to your body. Your body knows better than your mind in this instance. So we can either stay here or we can add a little bit of breath to it. Each time you breathe out, press a little higher. Each time you breathe in, lower your hips to hover. Inhale to lift a little higher. Exhale to hover. You can stay here or you can add the arms. Inhale, open the arms up overhead as you lift. Exhale, exhale to lift, pardon me. Inhale to come down. And exhale to lift. So again, we're looking at that compression on the exhale. Inhale, press the arms down, lower the hips. Exhale, press the hips up. And one more time. Inhale, lower the hips. And exhale to lift, hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower all the way down. You can bring your knees together, arms at goalposts, rock the head from side to side, and letting the body settle. And then we're going to do that one more time. Sliding the hands back by the hips, pressing the hands down. Leaving the knees about hip width level. Chin in towards your chest. Leading with your tailbone, start to peel the spine back up. Feeling your hip points, reaching towards your shoulders. Now again, this may be exactly where you stay, okay? This fortification may be exactly where you stay. Second level here. Inhale to lower the hips down. Exhale to press the hips up. Inhale, lower, again, find that space. Exhale, compression, navel towards the spine. Inhale for space. Exhale, compression. Now either stay here or also add the arms. Inhale for space, arms down by the hips. Exhale, compression, arms up past the head. Inhale, down. Exhale, up. Keep pressing the hip points towards your shoulders. Inhale, down. Exhale, up. Inhale, down. Exhale, up. 2 more times. Inhale, down. Exhale, up. Feel the empowerment of moving through this one more time as you inhale down. As you press one final time, exhaling up and release. Lowering your shoulders and elbows, resting your knees against each other. And taking that slight windshield wiper if you need it. And now we are going to end here in our final resting pose that is the mirror image of the way that we started. So finding one of your blankets, and you can sit up if this is easier, just to get yourself situated. Taking the blanket that was underneath your heels, your ankles, we're going to roll that up and slide that underneath your knees. We're going to lower back, taking that second blanket, opening that up to a larger square. And then roll the blanket just a few times at the crease, just enough so that it is supporting your neck. Open your arms wide. Press against the back of your head to flatten your shoulder blades against the ground. Taking a deep breath in and exhale. And now just to completely seal everything off, we're going to do some tension and release breathing. So as you breathe in, I want you to feel everything getting tense. You're breathing in and you're clenching your hands. Your feet are flexing. You're engaging up your legs through your torso. Your face starts to squinch up. Your jaw is clenched. Every single element of your body is clenched and active. Take another sip of air here. As you exhale, as you slowly release your breath, feel your body follow. Every bit of tension is smoothed and melted away. So again, we're going to tense. So to breathe in, find all that tension, all that activation in your jaw, in your face. Sip of air, fill yourself all the way to the top, and then as you release, completely melt. Final time. To find your breath, let your body gather and follow, gathering your limbs, gathering your strength. Squish the face, every muscle is active. And slowly, completely release. And your breath travel all throughout your body. And letting your breath linger in these spaces where you're a little bit more active today. Returning to this sense of fortification, this understanding that we are building upon something that is already there, something that is already present. There's no need to ever start over because where you are and who you are is the perfect starting place. We're only ever adding. And there's some beautiful piece to that. Being grateful for what your body is capable of. everything you know already and all the things that you may someday learn. And thanking yourself for spending time with this core power center. However that means to you. Start to rock your head from side to side. To run the tips of your fingers on the tips of your thumb, rolling out your ankles inside, outside. And bringing your knees in towards your chest to roll over to one side. And pressing down slowly, rising up to sit. Bring your hands to heart center, just thanking yourself one more time. And embodying this sense of fortification. We are here to reinforce what already exists inside of us. We bow forward to ourselves and to each other.